The year is 1934. You're present at the stadium where one of America's greatest professional baseball players, Babe Ruth, stands with his bat, ready to do what he does best. As you watch this legend play on the field, you find yourself thinking about why some people get to be so lucky. If only you had a little of their good luck charm, or whatever they have that makes them so good, your life would be better. What you may not have known, however, is that although your idol holds the record for the most home runs, he also holds the record for the most strikeouts. His excellence as a baseball player didn't just come from his ability to hit a home run, but in his ability to remain focused, committed, and try again after each strikeout. Instead of doubting or questioning his abilities after any failure, he rose above the challenge and swung his bat one more time. A lot of people suffer mental immobility because they're uncertain about the line of action they should take. If for any reason they take the action and it fails, they refuse to try again. Uncertainty forms a part of our lives as humans. We're unsure many times if the things that we considered doing would turn out well or just bad. However, uncertainty becomes the sign of a failure mechanism when we allow it to immobilize us. This type of uncertainty stems from an inherent need to be perfect. Unfortunately, this is a luxury that no one can really afford. People become paralyzed because they don't want to make mistakes. They erroneously believe that no wrong decisions can be made if you never make a decision. Some of the greatest minds in their various fields have, however, come out to debunk these claims about this unrealistic perfection that people pursue. Albert Hubbard said, "The greatest mistake a man can make is to be afraid of making one." Sir Humphrey Davy agrees with this train of thought when he said, "I have learned more from my mistakes than from my successes." The world would quickly point to Usain Bolt when sprinting is mentioned. You may not realize, however, that the king of sprinting has his first Olympics appearance in Athens in 2004, where he performed poorly. Yes, he finished in the 5th position in that race. That was a perfect opportunity to call it quits after such an embarrassing outing, but his subsequent dominance in the athletic world reveals that would have been a terrible decision. Thomas Edison was known to use an elimination process whenever he set out to invent a thing. He probably understood that it was not always possible to get something right at the first trial. He decided to be open-minded and to try out as many possibilities as required to get a successful invention. On the other hand, there are people who would not agree that they are uncertain about their decisions, but would never take responsibility for any failure associated with their decisions. They would usually blame someone else, an assistant, a subordinate, a spouse, or anyone within their immediate circle. You must understand that the best way to profit from any of your decisions is to own it 100%. You must accept the potential successes and failures alike. If it fails, you know what went wrong and can improve on that limitation subsequently. Again, some people allow uncertainty to get the better of them so much that they stand transfixed at a spot and become upset when others make progress in their endeavors. This usually results in resentment. Resentment is an indication of a personality that has failure at its core. Resentful people blame everything and everyone for the wrong things in their lives apart from themselves. These kinds of people make bad employees, colleagues, or family members. Usually they act this way because the success of others reveals to them that they have deficiencies to deal with. Unfortunately, instead of learning from this, they become embittered and attempt to convince everyone that they have been dealt an unfair card in life. In dealing with resentment, you must live by this powerful principle that birds live by. The sky provides sufficient space for all birds to fly without possibly crashing into each other. A person's success is not the reason why his contemporaries fail. The earth is large enough to accommodate everyone's success. If you're watching this, the chances are you have never heard a crime called over-succeeding. Failing, on the other hand, may not initially start out as a crime, but when it becomes internalized, it would eventually lead to vices. People steal and become societal menaces because of the acceptance of failure in their lives. You must do everything possible not to remain at the bottom of the rung of life. Your contribution is just as important as the champion that you love or resent. I like to imagine that the Creator created all men as a huge chain. Every one of us is linked to the other. When we fail to become what we were originally designed to be, we become weak links, and everyone connected to us becomes affected. Resentment produces such negative energy that it creates low-esteemed people. Life for such people is vague, colorless, and full of injustice. Misery is normal for them, and the absence of it becomes abnormal. Resentment, more often than not, is born out of false perspectives and responses to life. It's also perpetuated on the premise that someone or the world owes you in some way. Nothing could be further from the truth. No one owes you anything. On the contrary, you owe yourself and your world the biggest contribution. Instead of begrudging the next winner around you, turn your resentment against the internal limiting voice in your head and fight it. Resentment can be overcome because we have the power to do so. Be resentful of failure and not those who are not failing. Be resentful of limitations and not those who have broken their limits in their lives or careers. It is common knowledge that no one attracts what he criticizes, so it's time to stop the blame game, roll up your emotional sleeves, and get to work, building an incredible masterpiece out of yourself. Snatch your happiness and fulfillment from the hands of others and get behind the wheels of your destiny. If you're feeling inspired at the moment and would be interested in knowing what happens to us when the configurations of one of the most powerful goal-setting tools of man, the brain, is adjusted, then be sure to stick around for the next videos that we have lined up for you. Thank you for watching.